2025 is trying really hard to make up for 2024, and the UFC is kinda cooperating. But don't worry, we've got a fresh injection of violence, delusion, and questionable matchmaking to break down today. From Volkanovski's coping tour to Sweeney being a certified fight analyst, here's your daily MMA chaos update. Let's get into it. Volkanovski is officially in pretend this didn't happen mode ahead of UFC 314, where he's fighting Diego Lopes for the now vacant featherweight belt. And he's opening up about his knockout loss to Ilia Topuria like it was a breakup. He said his brain didn't let him do what he wanted to do, and that he felt moments of panic in the cage. Look, that's fair. But also, no, that wasn't panic. That was Topuria sending his soul to voicemail. Volk is out here talking like if he just moved his feet better or felt like himself, he would have won. Brother, your body was logged out. Ilia timed him, cracked him, and that was it. This isn't an adjust the game plan type of loss. That was a reset the universe kind of knockout. No hate to Volk, he's a legend. But pretending the outcome was just psychological? That's grade A coping. If they ever rematch, Ilia's still the favorite. And now he's fighting Diego Lopes for the title, Ilia left behind, because Topuria moved up to go play war games at lightweight. Don't sleep on Lopes. Man's got the hair of a fantasy villain and the submission game to end you in a scramble. If Volk wants to win, he's got to wrestle, grind, and avoid getting caught in a panic triangle while remembering what planet he's on. Meanwhile, Sweeney, yes, that's Sweeney, showed up at a Conor McGregor Knelt Boys party in Dublin and said Ronda Rousey was her favourite fighter. Cute. Girl power. But let's not act like this was a deep pull. Ronda's the only female fighter casuals even pretend to remember. And Sweeney? Look, we all know why people follow her. She could have said Tank Abbott and they'd still clap. But hey, credit where it's due. At least she gave props to the woman who walked so every current female fighter could sprint. Elsewhere in CTE land, Jack Marshman, former UFC banger and full-time soldier, has transitioned into bare-knuckle boxing, aka retirement plan for people who hate long-term memory. He's fighting American Cub Hawkins for the BKB Cruiserweight World title. This is what happens when you've taken too many elbows, still love the violence, and think, what if I got punched harder, faster, barehanded? Good luck to Marshman. May his jaw survive long enough to remember what he's fighting for. Wales, probably. In a move that proves the world is spiraling, bull riding is now considered serious competition to the UFC. The PBR, Professional Bull Riders, is being brought under the same umbrella as UFC and WWE in a $3 billion deal with TKO. That's right, we've reached the point where riding an animal with a mental breakdown is becoming more popular than guys getting paid $12K to eat head kicks. Honestly, can you blame them? At least in bull riding, the matchmaking isn't rigged. But let's get back to actual violence. UFC 314 goes down April 12th. Volk versus Lopes. Big moment. Let's break it down like adults with commitment issues. Volk wins if he makes it clinical. Stick, move, jab, takedown, repeat. If he gets emotional, tries to brawl, or lets Lopes start scrambles, he might end up in another highlight reel. Lopes wins if he turns it into chaos. He's slick, creative, and unpredictable. Think Charles Oliveira if he was in a rock band. Either way, the featherweight belt is getting a new owner, and the division finally moves again. April 26th brings us UFC on ESPN, Ian Machado, Garry versus Carlos Prates. This card got shaken up after Jamahal Hill pulled out with an injury, and now it's Garry's stage. Look, Ian is going to do what Ian does, talk like he's prime McGregor and then outpoint someone over 15 minutes in a fight no one re-watches. But if Prates brings pressure early and actually lets those hands go, there's a chance this isn't a sparring match disguised as a co-main event. As for UFC Vegas 105, no. That event was so boring I forgot it happened halfway through writing this sentence. Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy was supposed to be fireworks but turned out to be two guys trying not to lose. It felt like both men were being paid per jab attempt. Save yourself the pain. Skip the replay. It's just sadness in 4K. But hey, not all is lost. A recent YouTube video called Top 10 UFC Prospects in 2025 actually slapped. Real talent, real hunger, and zero Instagram clout chasing. These are the guys with no more than 3 UFC fights who are probably going to be headlining within 2 years. If you care about the future of this sport, this is where it starts. Not with recycled main events, not with bull riders, with actual killers on the rise. Give it a watch. Also, if you haven't checked it out yet, UFC 314 Embedded is already live. Vlogs are in full swing. You get to see Volk pretending he's not haunted by Ilia. Lopes looking like he's just happy to be terrifying. It's awkward. It's real. It's exactly the kind of behind-the-scenes content that reminds you these aren't superheroes. They're just weird people with cauliflower ears trying to make weight. Now, before we go, we need to talk to the non-casuals. You know who you are. You remember the names from The Ultimate Fighter Season 2. You still get mad about the GSP versus Hendricks decision. You watched Bellator on a stream with 240p quality and never blinked. You're the reason this sport exists. You're not here for TikTok edits. You're here for blood, legacy, and awkward post-fight octagon interviews. Respect. We see you. Keep the culture alive. And now, subscribe or else. Or else you'll wake up tomorrow and Dana White will personally announce a power slap title fight as the UFC 316 main event. Like the video or else. Or else Herb Dean will ref your next argument and stop it too early. Leave a comment. Or else. Or else Colby Covington shows up and cuts a promo at your grandma's birthday party. Hit the buttons. Feed the chaos. We'll be here watching people get kicked unconscious as nature intended. See you tomorrow, degenerates.